Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk, back again with some more products from the January to June catalogue and a little bit of celebration. So this is the lovely Sweet Strawberry bundle, which is you can buy either just the stamp set or the punch, or obviously as a combo you get your 10% discount. And it's this lovely fruity stuff themed, strawberry themed stamp set with two sizes of flowers, and the larger one coordinates with the small bloom punch. So if you've got that last celebration, that's perfect. It's great sentiments, and it's a really fun stamp set. And actually in celebration there is a level 2 combination, which is something you can choose with a £90 spend, and it is a stamp set, Berry Blessings, which obviously coordinates, and some lovely designer series paper. So 12 by 12 paper in double-sided, 2 sheets of each design. You can see here the strawberries will punch out, or you could fussy cut those out if you wanted to keep the stem. The flowers obviously coordinate as well. Lovely blueberry image, and on the reverse you've got these fab fun sort of gingham ones, and then I reckon these are Tayberries, being more purpley, and then some lovely strawberry images and some more raspberries as well. So really great designer series paper. I wish I could buy more, but I can't, so there we go, never mind. But anyway, so that's the product I'm going to be using today, and the links to all of those are in my description below this video. And I thought we'd make this fun card here. So I've done a whole range of cards using both the Berry Blessings and Sweet Strawberry, but everything from kind of, you know, sort of simple stamping through to a little bit more stamping and punching and fussy cutting. But it's a really versatile stamp set. You don't have to use the strawberries all the time, although I do rather like them. But I thought this was great, just kind of have that extra panel at the reverse of the DSP, one of the pieces on this side, some more of that lovely fruitiness, and then those little flowers as accents as well. I've deliberately, these ones were stamped and punched and kept flat, but I'll add a bit of dimension onto the ones that we're going to do today. So that's what I'm going to be making. And I say it's just a modified tent fold. All we're doing is just cutting a panel off the front there. Yeah, let's get going. Okay, so to start off with, obviously we need a card base. So this is 5 3/4 by 8 1/4, scored at 4 1/8, 14.5 by 21, scored at scored at 10.5. And once you've done that, you want to line this up at 4 centimetres. So make sure you've got your front at the top, line it up at 4 centimetres, and we're just going to cut down to the score line. So just come all the way down. If you're at all unsure, just lift it up and check you haven't gone too far, or leave it short and just finish it with your scissors. So once you've done that, you're just going to, you could either do it on your trimmer, or you can just come across with your snips and just trim away that little panel. Keep that for a bit of stamping another time. Or I've used thick whisper white, or basic white as it's going to be called for this. You then need some designer series paper. So I'm using a slightly different one, but it's 10.5 by 10.5 centimetres. We're just going to add that to the front of our card. So I'm just going to grab my Stampin' Seal. And you see on the back there's this lovely kind of check, like sort of tablecloth, and then just add that to the front. Now obviously if you prefer to have a layer with an edge, by all means you can do that. And then your other piece is 10.5 by 4 centimetres. So I've just flipped that over, so you've got that sort of contrast. And again, just I like to just line that up with that outside edge as well. So there's our basic card, which you can see already, really good fun. And the stamped images are absolutely, they're so easy to work with. So what I've actually got, I thought I'd go for a bit of Granny Apple Green. So I've just cut that to 5.5 by 5.5, so about a 2-inch or 2.125 square, and then the Whisper White is 5 by 5, so and about 1 5/8, something like that. 1 5/8. No, slightly more than that. I'll pop the measurements on the blog. So if this is 2 by 2, then I would go for either 1 7/8 or 1 3/4. So that's where we're going to stamp our sentiment. So to help line it up, I'm using my grid paper, just popping that in the middle there. I thought I'd use my rich raspberry, although it does look a little bit dry, and make this into a thank you card instead. So all I'm going to do is just stamp that across the middle. So just lining that up as much as I can. Like so. And then I'm going to obviously add my flowers. So again, with the flowers, one of the things I've done is I've written on here the strips of paper that I'm going to use to create my flowers. So I thought if we went in and... Okay, I've now lost my scraps of paper. Okay, so all we're going to do is stamp our flowers really easily. I'll probably need to grab another scrap of paper. I'll need to flip that over. Okay. And then infill those flowers. So that just lines up, and this does all the hard work. Now I'm not using my Stampin' Pierce mat here. They actually stamp really well without, but I've obviously got my big thick pad of paper underneath, which I'm finding generally does the trick anyway. And then just come in from the side and punch those flowers out, and you can just line that up like so. One, 2, and then let's flip that over for that third one, like so. If you struggle with your dexterity at all I would say is that with punches, these ones are great because they're flat. You can easily put them on a desk and then just line up your flower as you would, just partly press down. You can use your whole hand and then again give it a good press, and there we have our 3 little flowers. Now the strawberries work really well with the Poppy Parade, or you could use the Flirty Flamingo as well. You kind of get a pinker, slightly pinkier strawberry. And I find the best way for me that works is to go in and do the outline first. And this one I'm hoping, I probably won't. I might get a third one out of the middle. Probably not. Let's just do 2. I've already got one ready prepped. So once you've done the outline, just come in with your infill, just sort of hover above. And they aren't designed to be absolutely perfect. It doesn't matter if you go over the edge very slightly, because they're designed to have that textured feel to them. And as I said before, the stamp does all the hard work. This is this kind of distinctive one that you get. Now I haven't trimmed that down to my narrow bit, so I'm going to do that now. Here we go. Just avoid any excess. So I'm just lining that up underneath again. And you just repeat that. I've used Granny Apple Green for my stems on the previous one. So there's a couple of strawberries, a couple of 3 flowers. Let's get our Granny Apple Green going for our leaf stems. So all I'm going to do is just come in, and this is great for using up any of those sort of scraps of Whisper White card that you happen to have around. You know, don't let anything go to waste. I've got all sorts of bits and pieces. You can probably tell there's usually a bit that's been used already. And then just come in with the infill stamp, and I'm just using full strength Granny Apple Green because of the texture that's already on the stamp. You don't need to stamp off if you don't want to. Obviously you can, but it does give that lighter effect. And then you just line that up again, like so. Just tear off those odd scraps. I've got another video where my punch got a little bit stuck. So particularly where you've got scrappy bits, try and remove those as soon as you can, because obviously those are the sorts of bits that will get stuck into a punch. Now if ever you're stuck with a bit like that, rather than, I mean obviously I can fiddle around with this particular piece and line it up like so. Alternatively, it's the good old post-it note, just attach it to a piece of post-it note and you'll be all done. So there we go. Okay, so now what we want to do is obviously start to lay these up. And as I said, with my original one, I kept it quite flat. But I think these are really nice if you can add a bit of dimension to them. So all I'm doing is just shaping those very gently with my bone folder. And I'm doing the petals as well. So bone folders are great. What you're doing is stretching the fibres so it just holds its shape nicely. And to glue these onto the top, I find that Tombow is great because it gives you a little bit of wiggle room on those as well. And I add a bit of glue just to those two little the sort of leaves on the stem, because I quite like my top leaves to kind of hang off the top slightly. So just pop them to one side. And then we can create our flowers. So with the flowers, it's good old embossing tool time. So you can create lots of shape, but these really do, with this size, are great. You can just press down in the middle and they will come into a really nice shape already. Just to move that about and you see those petals just kind of poking up. Then you can add you can either add an enamel dot, or you could add a pearl, whatever's your kind of preference for those, or whatever you happen to have to hand, of course. And you know, obviously I end up sometimes with lots of sort of spare bits and pieces. So when I go through, you know, for example, I've got these happiness bloom dots and I'm thinking, well, do you know what? You know, I could use my lovely, you've got lovely in colour enamel dots. Bumblebee would work really well here. I happen to have some old ones that need using up, so I'm just going to add a little yellow to the centre of these flowers. These are some older happiness bloom ones, which I happen to have kicking around. So nothing goes to, as I always say, nothing goes to waste. Keep it to hand, and I can always make use of an enamel dot. Okay, so next is our assembly. So here we've got our lovely little flowers. And what I'm going to do first of all is to I've got a nice bit of ink on that one, so that's going to be, I think, probably covered up by a flower. Might need an extra flower. Just use some Stampin' Seal on the back here, just to add that to our Granny Apple green layer. Start off with. Then I usually attach the flowers with a little dab of Tombow on the reverse there. Try not to use too much. Oh, I've got a bit of the putty from my, there we go, poke it on. There we go. So just a couple of flowers there. Another one over here. I might actually use my ink eraser on that. There we go. Only a tiny, there we go, tiny little smudge. So that's going to, I'll leave that to one side to dry. What I'm also going to do is use my large image with the leaves and the flowers. as well, and pop that on the inside. That can just go in that bottom corner there. And then there we go. So our next thing is to add our strawberries onto the edge there. So as you can see here, you're only going to want to pop your dimensional on the one edge of this, because obviously otherwise it's going to stick to the back of the card. So I'm going to use a single large dimensional, as in a standard size dimensional, on the right hand edge of those. So you see, or even left hand edge. And one of the things I find when I'm doing these is I kind of tend to put the central one on first, because that just helps me space out my other ones. There's nothing worse than starting at another point and then all of a sudden find you've got no space for your final embellishment. And then again on the back of your layer, let's just pop on this one. I'm using the larger ones. One in each corner is fine. It's not that big a piece. And by turning that sort of square just end on into a diamond, it just creates another level of interest on your card. And just pop that in the middle. So there we have a pair of fun sweet strawberry cards. You can see flat on this one, shaped on this one. I probably prefer the slightly shaped ones, but hey, you know, whichever is your choice. And but either way, I think they're really fun pattern cards, these, and lovely, bright, vibrant colours. Who wouldn't want to receive one? If you'd like to purchase any of the products you've seen today and get your free celebration items, then just follow the links to the items in my description bar below, or pop along to the to my blog at flutterbyheidi.co.uk, and you'll find the links to these products as well on there. Thanks for watching, and I've got more projects to come using this stamp set and paper, so come back and see me again soon. Take care. Bye now.